this is Zule from Pomona, California, Zone 10A. Today is May 16, 2020. And today I thought we would talk about fruit trees. And I'm glad you asked why we are going to be talking about fruit trees today. Now, as everybody knows, the world is dealing with an issue, and that issue is causing people to try to grow their own things, their own veggies, their own fruit trees. They're trying to be as sustainable as possible, as we did see some food shortage in the beginning when all this started with the coronavirus. Well, since this started, I have gotten a couple of questions from people that watch my videos and may have spotted my fruit tree. Now, I normally don't talk a lot about my fruit trees, and that's just because there is a lot of videos on fruit trees and everybody has different climates, different spaces, different microclimates in their own areas. So that's the reason I really don't touch up a lot on my fruit trees. But since this whole coronavirus started, I have gotten a couple of questions for my trees. You know, what type of trees do you have? How far apart are they spaced? And so forth and so on. So this video, the intent of this video is to encourage you to experiment and try to grow fruit trees in your property, even if you have a small space like I do. So I have a space, the front part of my garden, which is my main garden area. It is about 50 by 20. Okay, in this small space, I do have 14 fruit trees. That's right, 14 fruit trees, and I have 4 raised beds. The raised beds are about 3 by 6 feet. Now, you might be saying, whoa, that's a small space. That's a lot of fruit trees plus the raised beds. And you're absolutely right. But guess what? The name of the game is experiment and see if it works in your garden. If you really want something, you're going to try to have it one way or another. And that's exactly what happened to me. So because I had a very small space, I looked online to see if there was resources, if people were doing a small area like mine with fruit trees. I didn't really find a lot. I only found people that were growing dwarf fruit trees, and most of them were in containers, or they had a big enough space to grow them. Well, I don't have a big space, so what I decided to do is I decided to go to my local nursery and purchase 2 trees. It so happens that I was also gifted a guayaba tree at the same time. So what I thought I would do is experiment, right? And see if it worked, if it was a good idea, if it gave me fruits, if the tree was nice and lush at the end of 1 year, at the end of 2 years, and so forth. Now, I want to give you an idea of how close these trees are planted. Now, all these trees along my wall here, which I have a total of 4 trees and 1, hopefully you can see it. Well, let me take you there. And 1 bird of paradise flower here. So they're dwarfs, okay? Now, even for dwarf trees, the recommendation is about 13 feet apart, because they can grow up to 15 feet tall and 12 feet wide. Well, I didn't have that type of space, right? So what I did is, okay, that nectarine came later, but this is the first tree that I bought. Look at how beautiful this trunk is. Look at how thick it is, okay? This is the first one that I bought. Sorry about that, sun. And this tree, when I planted it, I did 6 feet, approximately 6 feet to where I planted my second tree that I bought. And this one, which I'll show you in 1 second, is my Meyer Lemon. Okay, doing absolutely beautiful. For anybody that, you know, tells you no, you shouldn't plant them close together, don't take it as they're trying to keep you from having a fruit tree. They're giving you advice based on their experience and based on what has worked for them. And that's why I thought I would do this video, because this is my advice. It has worked for my garden, it has worked for my area, and it has worked for the fruit trees that I decided to purchase. Now, at that same time, as I mentioned, I had gotten a guava tree. Sorry about that sun again. I just want to make sure that you guys get a chance to look at how beautiful, how big, how luscious, and how thriving these trees are. Okay? They're not producing right now because they're just getting into the flower buds started. Okay, so again, that's my nectarine. About 6 feet is my Mexican lime. About 6 feet, or maybe a little bit more between these two, is my Meyer Lemon. And then about 6 feet is my guava. All right, the guava is not a dwarf, but my Meyer Lemon is, my Mexican lime is, and my nectarine tree is. And I just want to show you that they are thriving, they're beautiful, they're healthy. The only thing I may tell you to really consider before trying this experiment that I have tried, which is to plant them really, really close together, is that make sure to leave enough room for your canopies when you're pruning. Okay, so pruning when you're planting your fruit trees really close together is going to be vital. You're gonna have to make sure that you are shaping your fruit tree and that you are making sure that enough space and airflow is coming through. Sorry about that sun. That enough airflow is coming through and that they are able to touch each other, right? The branches are able to touch each other, but that they are not on top of each other, right? So you see, these branches have space of their own, and those branches have space of their own. Let me bring you down so you don't get that sun in your eye. These branches, they have space of their own. They are touching there, but that's fine because they still, let me move, sorry. That sun is really bright. So they are touching, but they have still space for their branches on their own. So yes, I've had so much success planting these trees together. The only thing is that you do have to stay on top of making sure that they are pruned and that they are shaped to where they're not going to be interfering with each other's airflow. And I have this thing because my kids are naughty and they try to fight with the neighbor dog, which is a business. But anyways, okay, so here's my beautiful rosemary that I have a full video on. Here is my pomegranate tree. Okay, very close together, again about 6 feet apart from the rosemary. Right next to it I have a papaya tree. Now this papaya tree is not looking so great because the gopher tried to eat it when it was a baby, but it's still doing great. It has recovered. But anyways, I don't want to make this video long, but I did want to show you that if you have a small space, you don't have to give up the thought of having a mini orchard. I have an apple tree, I have 2 avocado trees, I have 2 orange trees, I have 3 banana trees, I have a wahid tree, I have pomegranate tree. I mean, I have trees that are producing and looking healthy and looking beautiful. So my video today is to encourage you to experiment and encourage you to try it out And if it works out, amazing. If it doesn't, then take it as a learning experience. And if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I will try my best to help you within my knowledge and answer any questions that you might have, as I have answered in private messages I have gotten about my fruit trees. All right, well, I hope this video encouraged you in case you have a small space and we're thinking of adding a fruit tree or 2 or 3 to your small area. It is possible, it is doable. Maybe going with some dwarf fruit trees. Well, guys, I hope that this video was somehow helpful to you and inspired you to try something new in your garden in case you have a small space and you wanted to have a small orchard. Maybe try adding 1 or 2 or 3 fruit trees to your small area. Maybe try with dwarf trees first. Try out a few if it works out for you. If you have it down packed, then you can add more to your garden. All right, guys, I don't want to ramble on, but I thought I would answer this question about my fruit trees and the spacing and the type of space I have to work with. Well, guys, that's it from Little Beans Garden. Thank you very, very much for watching. Hope you have a great day. And as always, take care.